Hey, welcome back to the next part. Let's keep this going. Let's talk about giving a deposition or a statement. If you're going to be a witness or you're involved in an incident, remember, if you're involved in the incident, let's save that for a few minutes. But let's talk about being a witness, and let's just stick with the witness part right now. If you witness a crime, an armed robbery, whatever the case may be, and you decide to talk to the police, make sure that you can put everything down to a T. I mean, you need to be descriptive. Don't be soft. Don't clean things up. If the guy said, I'm going to fucking kill you and beat you into the ground, to whoever you're doing it to, you need to put that in your witness statement. Your statements need to be very detailed. I'll even tell it to you this way, to include what time of day, what time of, let me rephrase this a little bit. What time of day? The time. What I mean by what time of day, evening, morning, dusk, night, because that makes a big difference. The time too. What was the weather? To be honest with you, because if it's foggy out, I'm not going to see as clearly. If it's night out, I'm not going to see as clearly as if it was perfect day. You want to put that stuff down there. So if you're giving a statement, it needs to be very detailed. A literally 10-second ordeal could be 2-3 pages on paper. And we're going to get to that when you are involved. We're going to show you a little bit more of that one. But let's go ahead and do that part. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. You're involved in an incident. What are you going to do? I don't have my card with me, but there's this thing that started right here in Arizona in the late 60s, the Miranda rights. I think his name is Raymond Miranda. You can go down to Phoenix and they have a little museum that will tell you everything about it. But you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided for you. Are you willing to answer any of my questions? That's in a nutshell. But you have the right to remain silent. Most people don't know how to. Most people feel compelled to talk. I'm going to tell it to you, shut up. Get your head together. There's nothing wrong with telling them, the police, I don't want to talk right now. Let me get things together, and I'm more than happy to cooperate once I get my head together. To give you an example, think about the last time you were involved in something serious like a car wreck. Were you able to tell the officers right then and there everything that happened from A to Z? From the very first part of it to the last? No. Usually it's kind of jumps around. You'll skip part, oh yeah, now, or even 6 hours later, you'll remember it in chronological order versus when it first happened. That's how your mind works. The mind is a great thing. It'll block out a lot of trauma at the time, and then later it'll come back. So there's nothing wrong with telling them, hey, I'll talk to you at a later point. So let me get time to come down. That pretty simple. Do yourself the biggest favor. You know you. Have you said something when you were mad that you didn't mean to? I have. We all have done it. I have seen it more times than I can count. Everybody does it. It's just human nature. So when you go over and give your deposition, afterwards, let's say they give you a few hours to come down, do it from A to Z. Put it down on paper. First of all, have a lawyer. If you can afford a lawyer, please do so. Let me tell it to you this way. When the police get involved in shootings, they're told to shut up. I teach them. And they tell us, be quiet, wait for a lawyer. Make sure you have a lawyer. Don't always guarantee, especially if you work for an agency, that they're going to protect you. They're going to protect them before you. So have a lawyer ready. So if you get involved in a shooting, that lawyer comes down, talks to you, tells you how to say it, and everything gets put down. Because you want to make sure you are the victim, because you are. You don't want to say something out of anger like, I didn't give a damn he was down. I put 2 more in to make sure he's good. See the excessive use of force there that could be? I'm kind of paraphrasing it and show you how it could balloon real quick, but that's how it could happen. So when you're giving your statement, a simple 10-second, 15-second deal should be and could be a full sheet to 3 sheets of paper, depending on how much was said and how much it is. Don't cover anything up. If the guy used bad words, use them. Don't say he threatened to beat you. If he said he's gonna effing kill you, that's exactly what you need to put in there. If the guy is talking to you in such an anger where spit and saliva is coming out of his mouth and he's kind of incoherent, you want to put all that down. The guy came at me with balled up fists, threatening to kick my ass and rape my daughter. You want to put that in there. If that's exactly what he said, you want to put that in there, because that shows what a reasonable person would be in fear of. And we're going to get into that in a little bit. So when you give that deposition or statement, make sure you have everything in chronological order. And most importantly, this is something I have seen too. If your house has cameras, don't go back and watch them and say this is what you did. Because remember, those cameras see a different view. Those cameras see stuff you may not have seen. Or this. You heard somebody say, well, I saw this. And then you start second guessing yourself, and then all of a sudden you're saying things that you didn't see. And then when they start dissecting that and looking at things, well, how could you have seen that? That wasn't even in your view. Well, I heard them say it. Oh, so what else did you not see? See where it's starting to lead you? Starting to lead you in an uncredible area. You start to become uncredible, and you can't shake that. So tell them what you saw. If you didn't see it, you didn't see it. Point blank. So think about that. One of the exercises I used to do in the classes is we would just give them a very short point blank, and in my books, they're in there. This is what happened. Now write me something. Again, was picked on, you can see out there, it's nighttime. I don't even know what time it is. It's probably 8 o'clock at night. So on January 26th, 8 o'clock at night, the weather was kind of crappy. It was blowing really hard. This guy came up and threatened to kill me and rape my daughter if I didn't give him my wallet. And from where I was standing, which would be about 10 feet away or 20 feet away, whatever the case may be, I saw a black object in his hand that resembled to what I believed was a gun. I was in fear for my life. I did what I had to protect whatever. See where it goes? I'm kind of not using me as a primary. My daughter, my wife, would be the primary in my instance if they're with me. That's when I'm going to shoot it to. Because if something happens to me, what can happen to them? Don't even want to think about that. So there's so many ways you can go on this, depending on what happens in your case. Every scenario is going to be different in some way, shape, or form. This is where things can get very hectic. This is where nerves come into play. So please have this thought out before this incident happens. Because when the incident happens, it's time to play ball. From right now, when you're watching this video to your incident, that is your learning time. Preferably sooner than later. Because the later you learn it, the harder it's going to be. The sooner you learn it to the incident down there, it's going to be a lot easier for you. So please start learning this now. What are you going to say? What are you going to do? How are you going to present it? You need to think about that. I mean, articulation is going to be the key to save your ass. And here's why. You get involved in a shooting at whatever parking lot, your house, whatever. What are the cops going to do? They're going to come, take a report, and forward that report up. For somebody like you and me, we're really nobodies. Do you think the county attorney or district attorney, depending on where you live, is going to come down and see your incident and judge it? No. They're going to wait for the report. Let's just say it's a clean one, which I hope they are for all of you. They're just going to send the report up and they're going to get a rubber stamp saying justified. I've seen these papers before on a criminal deal, and they'll call it justified use of force of homicide, should he die, or ag assault, whatever the case may be if he lives. So write this articulatable. That way somebody that wasn't there can read it and know exactly what you went through. That way they can make a correct decision on what to do. I'll be honest with you, if you pissed yourself, you want that in there because that shows a level of fear. A great amount of fear happens in car crashes quite a bit. So please put everything in there, no matter how embarrassing it may be. If you shit yourself, because I've seen people do that because they get scared. I've seen people piss themselves because they get scared. It shows a level of fear. That is a great tool for you, especially when it comes to justification. I'm not saying to go do it. If you're having chest pains, you want to put that in there. It shows a level of stress and fear. So if you have any questions on that, please get a hold of me and we'll go over this. Or we can meet up right here in my little makeshift training office room and we'll help you out with it. So there you go, is on that. I'm going to stop this section here. We're going to move into the use of force on the next one. See ya.